I'm joined by Riz Tate in the commentary. Yep. So, yeah, it's the first time I've done a commentary on F1 2020, so, you know, we'll see how it goes. I think it's it was originally at the beginning of the season they were going to go with preset only. I think that was it, but it has since been changed to full setups. So yeah, because I know originally it was like preset settings only, whereas now people have complained and said they don't like it, so they've gone with full car setups. Got a few people in the chat. I think that's Asher Stevens, that's Tracy, Smalley's in, and Yuval. Hello then. Yep, I think Bounty's given the word out. Oh yeah, so we need to say our regular prayer, you know, happy birthday Astro, who is indeed racing in the Prema, so basically every day is Astro's birthday, so happy birthday Astro. So here we go then. I think it's qualifying. Now the thing is with this is Formula 2 qualifying in the rules is half an hour. However, we don't have time for that. So after about 18 minutes or so, you know, like the normal F1 qualifying that we do, they will back out the session, I believe, and then they'll start it again up to just set the grid and go into the race. I think that's how it works. It's somewhat like that, because obviously the Formula 2 qualifying is in half an hour, and if that were the case with the two races, it'll take forever. Oh, it's a wet qualifying. This is interesting. In Formula 2, the cars are bad enough to drive in the dry. Dry. Oh, we've got action in the pit lane. I think that's a Campos, I believe. Yep, I'm just seeing now. Everyone so far is on full wet. I was saying it doesn't look too bad, but clearly they can see things. It is, yeah. Because it doesn't look too bad, but then again, they'll know more than we will know in terms of how the conditions are going. So we'll keep an eye on Jedi at the moment. Because the thing is, they will have. I'm assuming some of them will have done laps on the rain just as a precaution, but I'm not sure whether how much effort they're putting for a wet setup. And obviously, at the moment, we don't know if it's going to be dry for the races because, of course, there's two of them in Formula 2. And already AJ's. I don't know, they both seem to be going perfectly fine. It doesn't seem like there's any damage on Hartley's car. What about an AJ's? No. Lesmore. car. I think Speaking of flying laps then, Jedi's just coming up toward the line to start the lap. Do you want to take us through the lap as we ride on board with Jedi here? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Your voice might not be on sharing. You might want to do that real quick. Anyway, I'll take over briefly. They're saying it. Yeah, I don't think they can hear you, so you might want to sort your voice out. Anyway, yeah. So Jedi.
There we go. You should be able to hear me now.
There's no. Can you hear him now?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I had that set. So anyway, into Varian Still Roger, not taking too much curb. Usually what I tend to do is clobber that first curb and then try and avoid the second one. Going into Lesmo 1, 50 metre board, just look at the amount of understeer that car produces.
Really struggling, isn't it?
50 metre board here. And
oh, big slide.
Is that an invalidation?
No, he's still going.
That's a surprise. I thought it would have been all four wheels over. I imagine that's cost him quite a lot of pace. So it'll have to wait and see if he pulls in, try and go for another lap. There and into third, clobbering, taking a lot of curb. Usually you can ride that curb on the outside of the second if it's a lot. Obviously this is the wet. There's nothing you can do there. Not too much the third curb. And that drag down towards Parabolica. Where's he braking? 100 metre boards. Fairly similar to where the Formula 1 cars are doing it actually, I think.
Yeah,
just because they're not carrying as much speed in the wet.
It does seem maybe just because it might be something to do with the Formula 2 cars and what we've seen with the setup. Maybe Jedi set himself up for straight line speed because he was really struggling in the corners in the rain, and he's immediately dropped down. Matt's has so far set the fastest time. AJ's gone even quicker than that, 39.4.
I was just wondering because Matt seems to have massively benefited from just sticking behind Jedi. He was, I'm not sure for how long, but he was behind him at definitely the back straight, and Jedi's gone off! Jedi is off at Refilio, so if he wanted to try another lap, it's definitely not happening now, pulling off to the side of the track. I think he's just letting cars through at the moment.
There's another one off there, not to show who that one was, but there was just slightly wide across the grass coming out of the Michigan. I think it was Simon, who's currently in P4. So a few of the laps have been
now on a flying lap. He goes third with a 140 flat, so it seems the time to be might dip into the 38s. That might be a bit of blissful optimism. That might be the way it is.
Interestingly, Robot has still not left the pit lane yet. Everyone else has gone out on the track. Robot hasn't yet set times. Something we don't know about the rain stopping, and he's trying to wait for it to dry out.
Indeed. I'm just looking at the conditions now. I'm not sure if my eyes play a trick on me, but it does seem to look like it's getting a bit lighter.
Oh, what's happened there?
Since wanted to come around the apex of Lesmo 1, Astro was stopped on the inside. I think he might have had a spin initially and wasn't able to get out of the waiting time. That's
Astro
really fortunate for Stinson.
was
I didn't
someone
see
else,
the sector apex, but he was looking really hooked up.
Astro's
off into the gravel. I imagine that's just a byproduct of being glued to the inside line. It's coming around now as Maximus. Just takes to the outside.
Agent goes even quicker still. Into 39.2 then, so
I imagine we'll see a 38 set in this lobby, and he goes a little bit wide of Lesmo 1, perhaps in an effort to just stay away from lockups and save the tyres. Is he going to try and do the chicane? Yes, he is.
So Jotu,
admire your effort.
Jotu Juso has also now gone into the pit. So a few of them are going into the pit. Some of them, however, are opting to just do lap after lap. So I wonder if they're just trying to fill up the car, trying to figure their way around the conditions, and they'll gradually get quicker. These
F2 cars can keep their tyres for a good amount of time, as I'm told previously in other F2 races. They'll keep their tyres for a good amount of laps. You can keep them out for about 4 or 5 and go quicker still.
Just watching B. What? He's gone through the first sector now. The car getting out of his way, but he was 2 seconds up on his lap time in the first sector.
That
2
puts him
seconds.
At a 140. We're going to see. Ooh, bit of overstay coming out of Lesmo 1.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to have affected him too much, but we'll see how not getting that car as wide as possible. That looks so antsy on the exit of those low speeds.
So the only 2 people to have not set a lap at the moment are indeed Robot, who has now left the pit, and Stinson, who had his incident with Astro. He's still 2.4 seconds up on B-Watt, so...
Robot's just
still
spun
improving.
on his outlap at De La Roger on the brakes. If we haven't had indications of how this is before, and Maximus goes off with him.
There's another one. There's 2 cars
this
off
is an
in the
indication
chicane.
Of how treacherous it is with these brakes.
And
Because
we've got a new pole time with Matt's up there with a 39.0.
That's a really good lap from Matt. That's interesting. He goes wide as well at that first corner, carrying all of that debris with him.
Wait, big slide. I think that was that B1?
That looked like a BWT Arden. It's Harley.
Is he a Harley round? I think he had a massive
Harley
slide
at
coming
the
out
last
Parabolica. Yeah, I did just about catch it because I was coaching on to AJ as he came around the final corner, but he went into the pits. Harley had just gone completely round.
This is a really curious thing now. I'm unsure about this. Everyone seems to be going straight on at that chicane. On outlaps, on inlaps, not on flying laps of course, but it's really interesting how maybe it's just a strategy to save tyres. You know, I was saying before when Maximus and Robot went off, most of these guys will be running at the most rearward brake bias possible. That rear end is going to be dicey. And going into heavy braking zones like Red Filio and De La Roger, especially De La Roger where you're just coming out a long right-hander, it's going to be really hard to get on the brakes in a fairly stable manner, and that just shows it. Oh, and we've got Maximus off at the exit of Parabolica as well. I don't know if he was going into the pit lane either way, but he's going in now.
So it just seems there's a lot of debris actually there, just on that inside against the wall on the exit of Parabolica. There's a bit of debris. There's B-Watt cutting the exit of Ascaris. See Jedi's on and out lap, so down in 9th place at the moment, but
we've got Robot on a flyer here, going up to Sector 1. We'll have to see if he's nice and steady through De La Roger this time. Let's just watch that entry. You can see it. The car just almost turns in for him, down to that really slippery rear end. There it is again on the exit. There is just no grip out there. And given that these cars are also turbocharged, you're going to have to be so steady on the right foot and probably really careful with the gearing.
It is, they're looking very tentative out there. It's just going to be very careful trying to keep the car facing forward. But so far on this lap, it doesn't look like Robot's gone completely round. We'll see if he's coming down into Sector 2.
But Sector 2 time just after that second Emirates board, or just before, sorry.
Oh, a lock-up there heading into Ascaria.
It should be okay because you can carry a good amount of entry speed into Ascaria and still come out with a good exit, seeing as it is a triple apex corner. You've got the one on the first turning right and then turning left again.
There we go.
Just after the 100 meter, I think, into Parabolica. Where does he start letting the car go? Just around the exit, you can see from just like how late he's getting on the throttle, how tentative he is. He had the car almost straight there. Goes
up into the top 10. Stinson's actually, I think I just caught another spin. It's Marco who's gone round on the exit with Scary on his outlap.
Is that Ascari? That looks like the main straight.
I'm pretty sure that's Ascari. Yeah,
that's
just
where the
just come onto the straight.
national course comes.
Yeah, just gone onto the strip for Ascari. I think there's a car in the background. Is that Harley?
It's a 104.5 split. Robots was somewhere around a 106.5.
He's about a second quicker.
Close to the 40s.
We'll see what Stinson can do. We know Stinson's a pretty quick driver himself, so we'll see how he goes
One of the quickest.
in the rain, yeah. But you can hear on the onboards, when we're on the onboards of the drivers, you can hear how careful they're trying to be with the throttle, not wanting to plant it or anything, because you can hear as they're gently applying it, trying to make sure they can just keep the car on straightforward. Let's see if it's... I'm not sure we're going to get a try.
38.
It's a 38.2. That is a rapid lap.
If the benchmark hadn't been set before, there it is.
8 tenths quicker.
6 minutes. 6 minutes of qualifying left. Of course, we know Stinson is probably in the top 2 between himself and Issat. Maybe Margalit up there with his incredible one-lap pace. We know that he's unbelievably quick on this game. Can anyone in this different category of car get close?
Here we go, we've got Leica starting his lap championship leader, I believe he is, in the Carlins. We'll see how he can do at the moment. He's 1.7 seconds off Stinson's time. And they are still going around on wet, so I don't think the rain's easing off.
One thing I just picked up on, short shifting more than normal actually. He short shifted once out of the corner exit, and then once again, just to avoid that late apex turbo lag, 1/10 up so far.
He's up.
Into the second apex. Dylan
He's got a bit of a wobble.
Slide of oversteer in that direction change. I imagine he'll go around for another lap now. We've got AJ on an out lap. Joto Juso coming around the first chicane. Is anyone approaching the timing line? We've got Jedi just going to... He's 8/10 up. Jedi 8/10 up now. So that would put him...
Give him a good couple of positions, about 6th, 7th-ish.
I would call P8 maybe.
We'll see. Here he comes then round the final corner up toward the line, trying to accelerate too hard to spin, as we've seen a couple of drives doing already, and across the line, and 5th.
40.7, P5.
Well, we were both wrong.
B-Watt massively... Ooh, we've got a massive spinner in B-Watt there. I think he was just trying to get around the track a bit quicker there, and has ended up plummeting into the inside apex of Ascari, not... sorry, the inside gravel trap of Ascari, not where you usually see it. Jota Juso's now coming round. Let's hope B-Watt can...
Jedi's off there.
When he's coming round.
Jedi's off on the grass, getting out of the way of one of the Virtuosi cars. I believe that was Stinson, who is the only Virtuosi car, and he's Stinson 2/10 down on his own lap at the moment.
I'm just watching Bounty's on board. He is unbelievably close on the throttle, just going around at any point. I think we've got Marco going quite quick. I'm just going to watch his sector 2 split now. He's coming out of Lesmo. I'm really sorry, that was I didn't say it, so
no.
If you know, you know.
For legal reasons, he didn't say it.
Oh, he's 1 second down. He's 1 second down, so I might have just had a sin. Harley currently going 2/10 up. Is he in sector 1 at least? Going into sector 2 now on the exit of Lesmo 1.
Down the back straight up toward Ascari then. Is he up again? He's actually down. Half a second down on his time, so clearly really struggling. Although we know...
Bounty again on the exit of Filio and beyond, going into Curva Grande. That's a skid pan going through that first sector.
Harley's not really had the game for long, I don't believe, so he has recently picked it up, so I think he'll just be wanting to try and just survive the race, to be honest, and see how he does.
Lika retires from the session. I think that's the maximum he believes he can extract from the car.
There comes Jedi up AJ, toward the final corner.
If my eyes do not deceive me, 5/10 up. He's going through sector 2 now. I'm only reading these split times from when the game displays them to me, when I switch to their cameras, and it's usually through the midpoint of sector 2. So I'm unsure if that's true, but he's going up towards the sector 2 line now.
4/10 up. He's making an improvement. This could get AJ onto the front row of the grid for this race in Monza. It's not going to be enough for pole.
Keeps that timing delta where it
big slide.
That was close to an invalidation on the exit of Ascari there. As long as he keeps it where that timing screen is now, he'll be on P2. Whether Mattsley improves a different story, but I'm wondering to see if he'll try and just eke out 4 more tenths in his final sector, just to get that tiny bit closer to Stinson. Matt retires.
So here we go. This is AJ's chance to get on the front row.
38, it's going to be the 38, 38.7! Look at that.
Very good.
He invalidated it. He must have invalidated it.
It's been deleted.
That's a real shame. Because that was a really, really neat lap that he was doing there. And, well, that would have put him within 5/10 of Stinson, and I think he would have taken that gladly. Stinson comes out. He's going to have to get a bit of a move on here, because he's only got about 1 minute and 40 left. That's how long we've got to go in the session. Now approaching exactly 1.5 minutes. Jedi retires from the session.
So Jedi's done.
For him.
So B-Watt's in the pits. I think they're in the pits now. Marco's just headed in, B-Watt's in. I think that might be their qualifying over. We'll see. I think Simon's just coming around the final corner now.
Split, 6/10
big spin.
Before
Big slide
Where are we
from
looking?
Simon, just come round Parabolica, and he's just had a massive
gonna box
wobble,
it.
and he's gone straight back into the pits because he picked up damage on the barrier. So clearly Parabolica really seems to be a point of struggle for these drivers at the moment in the range. Just struggling just to know when to put the throttle on as more and more drivers are retiring. So it's coming to the end of the qualifying. Here comes Robot. Is he going to
Now,
get it
where
right as he
is
comes round the
Robot?
final corner? Down in 12th place
Counting
up
to
toward the line.
36, 37, 38, 39, into the 40s it's going to be.
It's
It's
a
P7!
seventh.
That's
Very
a really
strong
big
lap.
improvement on where we thought he was going to be initially in qualifying. Looked like he's struggling to get out of the top 10. Not anymore. Super Venti coming round Parabolica now. Can he improve? Currently counting 30, 31. I was seeing about 36 for Robot's time at the final chicane, at the final curb. Oh, and a massive spin! Lucky to not lose a wheel there. And, I mean, kind of luckily, it's put him right into the pit lane.
Oh, Maximus has just gone straight
Maximus
on at the Della Rogia
taking the
chicane,
escape
so
road.
that's going to be his
That's
lap
a shame,
over.
'cause I
And
think-
AJ, I
that's a shame,
just
'cause I
caught
think-
him crossing the line, and he was a 10th improved on his time, but I don't think he's still
He's
not
got
managed to
another
get it
one.
in
No,
tank.
he's got another one though. I think he crossed the line before that 12-minute reach time. It's a shame
Shota
for
Juso's
it's a shame
gone.
for Maximus. It's a shame for
Astro's gone.
Maximus ultimately, as he had. It looked like, at least on our screen, he had 3/10 up, which even keeping it at that would have put him P4 and onto the second row of the grid. AJ now. We'll have a look at his lap. Did you catch his time in Sector 1?
No, I'm watching Robot at the moment as he heads down into a sky. He's 2/10 down at the moment in the second sector. Let's see what he does as he comes round onto the back straight toward Parabolica. Just got the one challenge left on his lap, but it's proven to be a big one in the rain here for qualifying.
This is huge from AJ. 8/10 up in Sector 2. Riding so much curb on the exit of Ascari. We haven't seen anyone doing that. Massively sideways on the exit of Ascari. A huge tank slapper there. That could
Robot's
impede
in.
his time a bit, but he's got one more corner to go. Can he gain it back?
Here we go then. Robot came into pits at the end of his lap and retired. Here comes AJ around the final corner. Looked strong in the middle sector. Is he going to
That was
hook
a
it all
really good
together?
apex.
He's really done really well
Too
for
early.
Parabolica.
Too early on the throttle. Where is it? 37, 38. He's got the second row.
Half a second improvement there, only 4/10 away from Stinson, and has managed to do it at the very end. And I think Stinson is actually 4/10 up in his own time. Comes round Parabolica now, could be about to get into the 37s here. So the line, and he
That's
does,
incredible.
37.6.
Easily in the 37s. Class of the field.
Well then, and then I think Maximus, who was just driving into, I believe that is the qualifying done and dusted, and it is a Stinson pole position and an AJ on the front row.
That was an exciting qualifying. Do we have the conditions for the race? Because it'll be interesting to see if it's a dry race, whether these drivers will opt to use the wet setup or the dry setup, depending on park permit conditions. Of course, something we actually
AJ's
forgot about,
5-place
AJ's
penalty.
5-second penalty
He
from
does,
earlier in the
yeah.
session with that collision with Harley.
So that will
is
drop
going
him
to
to
drop him
7th.
to P6? 7th.
7th.
Thank you,
Astro
for backing me up
also-
on the maths department.
Astro also has a 5-place grid penalty, which drops him from last to last.
To last.
So
Fairly
then,
unfortunate for all drivers. However, what it does do is promote Matt to a second row of the grid.
and
Interesting to see.
Matt is actually second in the championship behind Leica, and Leica is going to be starting down in 5th place after AJ's penalty. So the question is then,
Into
what are the
feature
conditions for the
I
race?
wonder if we have enough time, it's dry for now. It's
It's
very
just
dry
dry.
for now. And I am going to go to the toilet, so keep your viewers entertained, please.
I will try. So it looks like we've got a very bright and sunny conditions for this feature race, and it seems that yes, I'm fairly confident the grip is indeed unreal. Yeah, so we've got dry conditions for this first race. The top 8 get reversed. That means that the winner starts in 8th place and the driver in 8th place gets to start on pole. That will be another thing to factor in for this feature race, with Stinson pole position, Max on the front row and second in the championship behind Leica. We will see what it's like. Yeah, the weather definitely did clear up quick, didn't it, Smalley? I don't know. There's some super weather changing conditions, and the track seems to all be perfectly dried out, so we've got a very sunny race here in Monza, just a circuit just north of Milan, I believe. As
Back with 5
session
seconds to go,
starts
running the
late.
clock to the end.
3 seconds left on the session. And here we go. Here we go then. The lights are on.
Lights come on. And they're away.
Stinson has a decent start as well.
Stinson
Matt's
has a
on the
really
front
good
row.
start. He's already cleared his second row partner, Joto Juso, flying up to P2. He's side by side into turn 1. He's got the advantage. Let's see if he can keep it into turn 1. He's braked latest.
Someone's gone deep. Someone's gone deep. There's been a bit of contact. One of the Carlins is round. It's Leica almost getting into an incident there. And there's Maximus up into 5th place. Went a bit deep into the first corner. Manages to hold it very well. There's been some sort of contact. Someone's round, I think. There was a bit of debris flying around all over the place. But it is Joto Juso.
AJ sliding back into P3, getting back what he lost. Stinson goes wide. That's going to open him up for an attack from AJ. Into Lesmo 1. Can he try anything? Not quite, not close enough. Joto Juso already takes a commanding lead, 1.6 seconds.
It's
Can
a very
he hold it on?
Joto Juso's had a very U style of race there at the start, and he just pulled away at the start and just immediately tries to pull away from everyone. But now he's got Stinson, who's got AJ all over the back of him.
Down into. Now, this is going to be really important for AJ. He's got 3
in fact,
very big back straights.
We've got Leica, who was almost looking like he was going to go for a move on Robot into Ascari, but he's decided to back out of it, just trying to get the run out of Ascari and into
Marco
the Parabolica corner. And Robot's starting to form a little bit of a trend behind him as he's got Leica, Maximus and Simon all trying to find space. There's a lot of cars in the background all trying to find position. They're nearly going 3 wide there. Jedi, B-War, and I think that's Max all the way down in 11th.
That's going to really compromise his run.
Hang on a minute. Oh, big spin. It's B-Watt's gone around. He's come back across the track and he's hit Marco. Marco's out of the race.
He's out of the race.
Marco's out. It's a virtual safety car. There was a big incident there.
Surprise. That
and
was horrible.
B-Watt's reversing up the track to go into the pit lane. I'm fairly certain that's illegal.
He's within his right to do that, I think. He was meters out of the pit lane entry and there was no other cars behind him for at least the next lap. But that's a massive incident. That's so unfortunate for the 2 other drivers. Did you see what caused that spin, out of curiosity?
I think there was a bit of contact because, like I was saying, B-Watt and Mats were getting very close to each other. And Mats actually started on the front row, didn't he? Down in 10th place at the start of this second lap now. So he's clearly had something a bit wrong. I think there was just a bit of contact and that sent B-Watt down as he pinged off the wall. He spun across the track and Marco just couldn't quite get and a lot of penalties.
Drivers collect drive-through penalties. It's speeding under VSC. All of them may be struggling to maintain Delta.
Astro, Harley, Jedi and Maps.
A Robot again keeping this train. It's now Maximus, Simon, Leica, Superventi just coming up to the back of it. And then we've got a train from Superventi with Matt, Jedi and Harley just on the back of it. Meanwhile, AJ has remained fairly neutral. Joto Juso, the big winner of the safety car, cleared that gap from 1.7 to 2.3.
Now,
it'll be hard to say if Stinson can make that gap. I have full faith that he will, given his incredible raw speed. But can he do it and get past as well?
Right, DRS enabled because it is now lap 3. No DRS at the moment for these drivers to roll on the train. We've seen so many times in GTS that Robot is a very good defender. How does he do it in F1? Well, he's got Maximus on his inside and doesn't seem to be putting up much of a fight. Max, is Maximus going to try it? They got very tight there, but Robert just about holds ahead. And now suddenly Simon's trying to find a run on Maximus as he goes wrong. Someone's gone off, Bounty's gone off. And Astro, we've got Matt's Jedi and Harley have all gone into their drive-through, whereas Astro has continued on, but Super Bounty ran very wide. You can see them snaking around trying to find position there, and it looked like Simon's just having to defend from Leica. We've got Maximus in 5th place now. He's going to have to try another attempt on Robot, and heading down the straight at the Lesmos, they will be getting DRS apart from Robot.
So, after those 3 pitted, this is going to be a cutthroat fight between 10th, 11th, 12th and probably 9th as well, seeing as Astro's not served his drive-through penalty for that last points scoring position.
There we go then, DRS and Leica's, I think Supervanti and Leica, 2 teammates in the car, and cars going side by side.
Simon and Leica, it was very risky to go on the outside of Ascari. Leica tried it, in the end just couldn't make it work, and Simon with a huge
spin comes across the track. Oh, they've collected each other. Leica's gone round and they've hit Super Bounty. Super Bounty's now out of the race.
Out.
Big accident, safety car, full safety car.
This is a perfect opportunity for Astro to get that drive drive-through penalty served.
I don't think you can serve. I don't. Oh, never mind, because
no!
Astra's now been collected by a very dodgy
That was
rejoin from
messy.
Simon, and Simon's been given a
has been-
penalty. The thing is, you'd say it's a good opportunity for Astra. I don't think you
And
can
now he's
serve.
been
You
collected.
you can't serve drive-through penalties under safety car. So he's going to have to take that after the safety car. Now he seems to be stuck. He's lost the position on Mats, but big incident
He's
there.
lost front
Leica's
wing.
going to be
He's
coming
lost
into the
front
pits.
wing.
Jota Juso's in the pits and AJ in. They haven't had damage. That's a strategic pit stop. Teams under the safety car. Are you surprised he pitted in this early with the safety car?
I think you could definitely take the harder compound of tyre, which looks to be the mediums, to the end of the race. It's 11 laps. I ended up in that special event we ended up doing at Monza last season in F2. I remember taking those soft tyres 10 laps in the sprint race.
And
So
Astra
I think it's entirely possible. Oh no.
has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so a lot of people are pitting in.
mean-
AJ's got a penalty for multiple warnings, so I'm assuming that is for corner
Track
cutting.
limits.
But it is
This
now.
has just gone from bad to worse for that Framer. Sobing what looks to be the 5-second time penalty that he picked up for speeding the pit lane. Front wing goes on. The good news is he'll be in 12th place, but he'll be right on the back of the pack as long as the safety car doesn't end too late, of course, because these pit stops, there's only, I believe, a 7-8 man crew in F2 pit
It's
stops.
something like that, yeah.
So the pit stops are a good few seconds slower. Where's the safety car at the moment? I believe.
I can't see it. It's
Stinson's
probably
coming
just
round to it
coming
now.
around onto the. Well, Stinson's onto the main stretch across the line. I'm thinking now you'd be able to, if he wasn't able to on the previous lap, he'd be
Well,
able to go flat. And
First
Stinson,
5
interestingly,
laps have been.
Stinson hasn't pitted in. So while some of the drivers have pitted in, notably AJ and Jota Juso, they have also now made their stop for the race under the safety car. Stinson, Robert, and Maximus are still to pit. So that would be interesting to see where that puts them in. How much longer Stinson, as he catches up to the safety car, how much longer will they stay out then before they pit in?
I imagine, since they're all on the harder compound tyre, we'll maybe start to see a pit stop.
We've got
around
a-
lap 8 or 9 when they've got an option.
hang on a minute.
To gap.
AJ's in again. Max has also come into the pits, and this is a.
They had contact on the safety car. Let me check the
No,
race
no,
director.
not a front wing change for AJ. It's just a different set of tyres that are the exact same compound of tyres. I'm not sure what's going on there with AJ.
Perhaps a second guess. Maybe the set of tyres. Oh no, because it was a wet qualifying.
Oh wait,
Unless he's planning to save.
hang on a
harder
minute.
compound. What's up?
What are the tyre compounds available for F2 at the moment? Because everyone seems to be on the mediums and the
Soft on
softs. So I wonder if
believe it's
AJ.
locked to soft on medium.
I wonder if AJ wanted to pit onto the softs because he was on the medium tyre and then came in to try and do it again, and he's still not managed to get on that right tyre because he's come out of the pits again on the mediums, which he was on earlier. So
There is various glitches and problems with this game that result in the pit lane. I remember Robot bringing one up in a race a few months, maybe a month back, on how he just couldn't change his front wing in the pit lane. So it could be something like that, or it could just be a miscommunication between driver and crew. Either way, it's fair to say the pecking order's changed about it. Of course,
what a
Stinson,
dramatic start.
ever,
Interestingly, we've
Stinson
got
ever present,
Robot up in
remains
second.
first. Maximus, probably the big winner and all that, up to 3rd position. Jota Juso gets into 4th. AJ down from 2nd to 5th. I imagine he'll be quite disappointed with that. And with a 3-second time penalty, we could see more. It's not uncommon to see.
Oh, Stinson's in. So that
Stinson
promotes
has come in.
Robot into the lead of this race.
What tyre compound is Stinson going onto? I would say
He's
soft
on the
compound
softs,
tyres,
yep.
and
They've
it
got the
is.
softs ready. Now that is
He
interesting.
can take those tyres. He can take those tyres the length. It'll depend on if he can get past however many cars are going to come out behind. It's going to be.
Could you
is he
check?
going to get out ahead of AJ?
Could you check the? I think he will. It's going to be tight. AJ's just heading down the straight now. Whereabouts is
I think
Stinson?
AJ will get him.
Yeah,
there it
AJ's
is.
got him.
AJ from
AJ's
ahead.
taken the position away from Stinson now. Stinson down to 4th place. Jota Juso
What do you want
is.
to check?
Could you just check what tyres AJ started on? On the race
Okay,
director, you should be able to do it. Oh, Maximus came into the pits as well and all that. So the only driver who hasn't
AJ
made a pit stop
AJ
is Robot.
started on soft tyres, went to the mediums.
Right.
Lap 5, he switched from the mediums to the mediums.
So that was the pit stop we saw. So
yeah.
I wonder if that's what he was trying to do, is go on to a fresh set of softs. So he did the mediums to say that he did them as per the rules, and then wanted to go onto a set of softs for the restart. I wonder if that's what he was trying to do, and it just didn't really work. We haven't got many cars behind the safety car. We've got Robot and Jota Juso, and then there's a good 5-second gap between Jota Juso and AJ. A further 8 seconds, sorry, between Stinson and AJ. So the King very clearly spaced out, and it looks like the safety car is probably going on for another lap, because I think it's at
I don't blame that. It could go on for another 2, because the cars are so spread out. I mean, look at the gaps. You've got Stinson 8 seconds behind, Max is 2. You know, they're not linked, I don't believe, to a speed limit at this point in time. They just have to stay behind the car.
They have to.
But of course, what you've
yes.
got to factor in is that drivers are going to be wanting to be tyre saving, short shifting to save fuel, because you can't change the fuel mode in these cars. They're just going to be wanting to go slow to preserve their tyre life for when this restart gets ahead.
Yep.
So I imagine, look at that gap though, 23 seconds
between Simon and Leica, yeah. Ali's gotten this bad for so our top 2 in the championship are currently running in 8th and 6th. I'm fairly certain that's the championship. Let me actually double check, because otherwise I've been saying it wrong this whole time. But I'm fairly certain.
Simon pits.
Simon's in. Simon is in.
He's on the soft corner of the tower right now. Is he going to switch to the mediums? They are a fresh set of yellow striped tyres. That is the medium compound.
Oh, he's got a penalty.
He's
serving a 5-second penalty.
That'll drop him behind Leica, Astro, B1, and also Jedi probably. It could drop him behind Harley here, because Harley's just around the exit of Parabolica.
Astro up into the 8th place, and at the moment, obviously, with the way Formula 2 does for the sprint race, if it stays like this, Astro will be on pole.
Harley's ahead. Harley is ahead.
Simon all the way down to 12th place. He's just now coming back, so he's right down at the back on a fresh set of mediums. But how much longer will this safety car go on, do you reckon?
I could see another lap or 2, so we'll have an 8-lap sprint to the end, which would potentially really harm Jota Juso and Dr. Robot, seeing as they haven't pitted yet, and that would be a sprint to the end. It would benefit Stinson, who's got soft tyres that aren't as dead towards the end of the race. They can go longer. They can not go long, sorry. They'll just have more life towards the end of the race. It benefits Maximus, who's done the exact same thing.
Oh, safety car
in this lap.
Safety car is in.
That's curious, because we do have a fair few cars not that close to the not that close to the pit lane. The last car that knows just coming round Lesmo 2. B-Watt is just coming out to the exit of Ascari. So can these 3 catch up in time?
Now the question is, of course, what does Robot do? Robot, of course, now leading the pack, has to back them up, but what does he do? Not the only driver who is still yet to make a pit stop in this race. At what stage is he going to make that pit stop?
Of course, it is mandatory, but I imagine he'll want to leave it until...
He'll try. I'm sure he'll try to leave it as late as possible so that he don't lose as much time, you'd think. But he's gone. It looks like he's gone. Just heading around Parabolica. Jota Juso's going to sit in the slipstream.
He hasn't got that great of a jump. Jota Juso now only 3/10 back.
All going to be in the slipstream. Big weave. Jota Juso actually temporarily on the grab, which means on the grass coming out onto the main straight, which means AJ's got a much better run. AJ goes down the inside into the first corner, but not quite close enough.
He's going to go for a switchback.
Oh, they've gone very tight to contact, and that's. It's looking good so far, but Jota Juso just about holds on, which means that Robots managed to actually get a better gap from that, just because he went slightly wrong between AJ and Jota Juso, and this is exactly what Robot needs.
His lips at this.
Down the inside is AJ trying it again into Rogier, and he's made him. He's made it stick.
The second apex, what a move! Now Jota Juso is prey to the ever-hungry
Stinson's got him.
Down the inside at Lesmo 2.
So then, now Robot's got AJ and Stinson right behind him, with Jota Juso, and Mats is also right in there. And I did check, Mats is indeed second in the championship, but quite some points away from Leica in the standings, but obviously that could be helped with the fact that there's 2 races in a Formula 2 weekend, so we'll see what Mats can do.
Attacking the back of Astro Smurf. Now, how do you think these 2 will play it out? They're not in the same team, however, they're incredibly close friends, and part of the same team in Gran Turismo with the Robin Pollux unit. Do they play this friendly and do they play this like a team, or do they play this like rivals? AJ's currently trying to go for the lead on Robot.
He's gone for it. He's done it.
He's lost two.
He's lost them both, and now we've got Stinson all over the back of AJ. No DRS available. Fastest lap. There's been something gone on.
I think that's Astrosmouth pitting. I think he was just slowing down on the way into the pit lane because I can't see. Actually, Jedi's a fair bit off the field. He might have
my God, we've had a massive congregation of cars right at the front. Stinson's gone side by side. There's a lot of cars. There's been an incident.
We've got two cars round. Jotajuso and Maximus.
Jotajuso and Maximus. That's, the first corner. And it's gone catastrophic. Maxis spins around again. It's gone horrifically wrong for him. That's now got B1 and Harley, who are two BWT Arden cars side by side racing each other. Harley's going to up to the outside. Harley's around the outside. Is he on the inside? Harley's on the inside, and he's made it stick.
B-Watt has the door slammed shot on him. That was hard but fair at its very, very hardest.
So Stinson now takes back the lead with AJ second. Robert's side to drop down to third place with Mats in fourth, Leica in fifth. A good 2 seconds away from Mats at the moment. So we'll see what Mats can do in the slipstream of Robert. It'll be on lap 10, I believe, when we get DRS back in action. And these four, as Robert gets a little bit wide for Ascari, he's not had a good run. Mats has got him well easily.
Simon picks up a 3-second time penalty from multiple warnings. Leica now has a good opportunity to get into a bit higher into the top 5 hierarchy.
Stinson has pulled out a second's gap over AJ already, so he started to just focus on pulling that gap away, and he set another fastest lap.
Stinson's focus right now is just
spin almost from Harley. Harley really almost struggled with that one, and that's going to allow Jotajuso all over the back of him. Pulls to the outside, does he? Here he goes around the outside. This is for 7th, side by side. Big squeeze there from Harley, but just about enough room.
Not helping his team. B1 not helping his teammate at all, pulling into the slipstream of Jotajuso.
Oh, Jotajuso, very tight.
Lots of side pod contact.
Jotajuso gets ahead, and Robot in the pits comes back out in 11th place. We'll probably get a long way out ahead of Astro, so that means that Mats has now been promoted up into the top 3.
Question is, can Matt take that second step of the podium? He's looking really confident at the moment, but we know AJ's quick on every platform that he races on. And I know specifically, that he's an incredible defender. So, DRS opens, little mechanical beep sounds.
Jotajuso and Harley. Jotajuso, Harley's spin round the inside into Lesman. Harley's gone completely off. I'm not too sure what Harley was thinking there. I think they got very close. I think there's enough time. I think there's enough. There might not be Maximus. Just about avoids it. Just about managed to get round, but that went very badly wrong for Harley. I'm really not sure what Harley was trying there. It seemed that he'd just gone for a dive into the second Lesmo, and it didn't work at all.
Whatever happened, it releases the pressure off of BWAT, who now has a really comfortable gap between both cars. 1.4 to Simon, 3.8 to Jotajuso. Meanwhile, Leica, I was going to say earlier in the lap, has been decreasing that gap nice and steadily. It's now gone back up to about 1.9, I think it's sitting at. In fact, it's just gone back down to 1.5, so I think
it's fluctuating.
There's a fair bit of fluctuation between these two. Matt's in the second part of the lap seems to have a good pace advantage, or maybe Leica just made a bit of a mistake, but in that first half of the lap, Leica with those low speed exits has been
something's happened, someone's gone off. It's Stinson!
That's Stinson!
Stinson's gone round from the lead!
And he's lost his front wing, he's gonna have to pit. That's
so unfortunate, and he's bringing the front one with him, I suppose. I don't know, he's deposited it right in front of Jotajuso's car, but Stinson's just gone complete around. A virtual safety car is deployed. This is going to massively hurt Stinson's race.
To some extent, a bit of a blessing in disguise for Stinson, because he's now going to lose less time in the safety car, as long as it doesn't end before he gets to the pit lane.
I mean, with Formula 2 pit stops, it's long anyway. With a front wing, I'm pretty sure they can take upward toward 20 seconds of a pit stop, which is far too long to be stationary for in a race. But AJ now inherited the lead, and Mats has managed to drop about a second behind, which is where AJ needs Mats to be, because therefore he won't have the DRS. So Mats will need to focus on trying to get within a second if he wants any chance of winning this race.
I'm looking at the gaps at the moment. Closest cars on track are probably the most tight battles you've
Jota
got.
Juso has a drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car. Stinson goes into the
Again, that
pits.
seems to have caught out so many drivers this race. I'm not sure if the delta's any different in Formula 2. I don't imagine it would be. That's really, really unfortunate. Now, back to the lead. AJ just keeping Mats at bay here. The gap's been, I think, as far as I remember, fairly consistent.
He has gone down. It was about a second at when they came onto the main straight during the virtual safety car. So he's managed to bring it down after the virtual safety car to about half a second, which is exactly what he needs, because he'll have the DRS heading into Ascari. Max could be in contention to take the lead of this race here with the DRS.
Matt has the pace to win this race.
But does he have the temperament?
Does he overtake? Because there is no need for him to overtake at the moment, because AJ, with that penalty, he would be leading the race either way, as we were saying within a second. However, he can go for an overtake and just make concrete sure. It's a riskier way of doing it, but it's a better way of doing it in case he picks up any additional penalties. Dropping back just a bit out of Ascari. He'll still get detection since the point is just before Parabolica, about there.
I think the biggest risk in him going for a move on AJ would be if he dives straight into the corners. If he can fly past him on the straights with DRS, there's not as much risk with it involved, but he seems to drop back a bit, and I don't think he's gaining in by enough to take him on the straight. About 7 times back, he doesn't seem to be gaining in.
I mean, if this is not a testament to Stinson's skill, I don't know what is. He's just closed down 2 seconds in the second sector alone. Astra Smurf is in massive danger here.
B1 and Simon getting very close, side by side out of Retifilia. I think that was B1 just holding it off Simon, or I think maybe B1 overtook Simon, but they got very close into Retifilia now. Now Simon's closing in on him. Is Simon going to go for a move into the second chicane? He's not quite close enough.
Meanwhile, AJ just continuously opening up that gap. He's doing exactly what he needs to here. I'm going to check the penalties really quick. But I believe
you can do that on this now.
If he keeps doing...
It's on the spectator menu.
Between... I was looking at the flag, that just shows the flags. Between the two,
no, you
Max
can do it on the...
Max has picked up a warning, a drive-through.
You know, if you go to detail, you know where it says like tyres and stops, if you cycle all the way through it says penalties.
Okay. So Matt actually doesn't have penalties. So all he needs to do is remain within 3 seconds. Although, it'll depend on how he can get on now, as I don't believe he's got DRS onto that back straight anymore. Just outside it, 1.0, but the 600s makes all the difference.
Let's see then, any other close battles. Simon's still within DRS of B-Wop, but not quite close enough in this fight. Fourth place in a spin, almost there from Simon.
He's held it well. He's held it very well.
I think that just looked like he'd locked his tyres up and the car was going around, because there was a lot of smoke coming up as he was doing. How is Stinson getting on? Only 2.3 seconds away from Astra, and we'll see if Stinson can continue to claw it in.
Stinson smells blood and knows he's close. There it is again. That was what, 2.5 seconds, only a blink of an eye ago. It's been into the 1 second margin.
On a fastest lap on the way.
29.4. That, unless I'm mistaken, that's one of the first laps we've seen to break 130s. I saw 32s, I saw 31s in that early stage of the race when everyone had fresh tyres, but just a bit more fuel. Astra goes wide. Oh, this is going to be a hell of a race going into Sector 2.
With just 2 laps to go, we'll see if Astra's able to hold off Stinson for the final point. I believe in this race there's points for the top 10, and then I think the next race it's for the top 8. Stinson's gone down the inside Roger, and I think Astra gave him plenty of space.
I think Astra knew the inevitable was coming there. That was the sensible thing to do, I think. Just to stay out of the way, make sure you don't get damage yourself and potentially drop behind.
Meanwhile, here comes
the Harley.
Meanwhile, here comes Simon and B-Watt onto the main straight now. DRS for the final lap. He's still he's closing in, and actually B-Watt's doing a bit of weaving to break the toe. He's still getting closer, but just not close enough. Who has The bigger penalty, they both do have penalties, and it is
it's Simon.
quite comprehensively Simon, just 2 seconds more than what B-Watt's got, so...
I don't think it's too out of the realm to say this would need a miracle for Simon to win, as he'll need to pass, and then
find 2 seconds.
What is now the last 2 sectors. 2 seconds. Oh, and he locked it very right! He's locked it very right, and that could open up Jedi to come through. All he needs is 5 seconds of time. I don't think he'll get it. I think Simon has just dodged a very large bullet there.
Clearly pushing... Clearly just pushing too hard in his ART, and it does seem like there's Jedi just 9 seconds back, but I don't think it's going to be quite close enough.
Coming around the final corner for the first race, coming into the final corner, sorry, AJ has led most of this race. He is going to come across in first place. However, Matt's currently 1.6 behind. As long as he doesn't have a dramatic loss in time, will come around to win the Formula 2 feature race here at Monza. A very good drive from both these two.
Mats knows it, weaving across the line there. So Mats wins, AJ second, Leica rounds off the podium.
Out of nowhere, actually. Leica was down nearly outside the top 10 at some point. Good race from Leica. B-Watt comes across
in 5 and Simon sells 5th place. Jedi going to be crossing the line in 6th. Maximus is going to be in 7th place in the end, and starting on the sprint race pole will be the Prema driver of Jotajuso, who had a very good start in the first race. If he can match that start in the sprint race, he could possibly be quite far away, but unfortunately it wasn't quite good enough for Jotajuso today. But Robot in 9th, 10th place Stinson.
Not just the start, Jotajuso had really good pace in that first half. Remember, it might have helped with the safety car, it might have helped with that, but that's all a factor of racing. Jotajuso managed to eke out a 2.3 second gap. So, if we see the amount of chaos we saw at the opening half of this race, Jotajuso is in prime position, as long as he doesn't get tangled up in any more, to have a very good shot at a win.
So we'll see how it goes. And Mats as well. Actually, I just realised Mats was down in like 11th or something on the first lap, and then he had his head focused and managed to come through with the win. And so a great drive from the Trident driver, and some good points over his championship rival Leica at the moment, who is leading the championship. Mats in 2nd, and it is B-Watt that is awarded the driver of the day for this race.
That's fair. I agree with that, actually. I mean, to be fair,
personally,
if this game were judged off of position from like lowest to highest in race, I would have gone, of course, with our race winner Matt. But in terms of an overall race, I think B-Watt for the most part just kept his nose clean and stayed away from any chaos.
I will, yeah, I'd agree. I think I'd probably say Matt's personally is my driver for the day, but B-Watt drove relatively. And AJ has left the session. Does he not know there's a second race?
That might be a disconnect, I think. I don't imagine that'll be, because he had a fairly good result there. I don't know. I don't think that'll be a rage quit. I don't think there's much reason for that to be a rage quit after a very confident race. So.
Especially because with AJ he had his penalty, he sat down in 7th place and managed to come back into 2nd.
Yep. And obviously, without that penalty, would have won it, but that's ifs and buts.
Although Stinson, because Stinson got the fastest lap, finished 10th, scored more points than Robot, who finished 9th. Because Stinson acquired 3 points because he got the 1 point for 10th and the 2 points you get for fastest lap in Formula 2, whereas Robot only got the 2 for 9th. So, you know, that's interesting. But there it is then. Matt was the winner, and like we were saying, in sprint race pole it will be Jotajuso in the Prema.
Let's see if B-Watt can rejoin before
AJ.
The start, or before the first few laps of this. Did AJ leave?
Yeah, it was AJ that left, not B-Watt.
I believe you. Oh, I thought it was B-Watt, my bad.
No, it's AJ left, and it is a dry sprint race as well. So there was no rain in this one.
Yeah. That should hopefully make for some nice battles. I think we had our fair share of rain, and I think the drivers would probably say they had their fair share of rain too. That seemed like a really difficult qualifying session. So I don't think there'll be any love lost between the weather in Milan. I nearly forgot where Malta was. There we go.
AJ has rejoined. He should be there in time for the race, but he'll be starting in 7th again. So we'll see what he can do from this one. We'll see if Max can become a double winner, which doesn't happen in real life, has never happened in Formula 2.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, there is never in Formula 2's history, which I believe was since 2017, but there's never been a double winner. Anyway, the lights are on for Jota Juicer on pole position with Maximus on the front right. Lights out and away we go. Has Jota? There's someone in the middle who's had a mega launch. Simon's all the way up to, I think it was AJ, but Simon has had a good start. He's into 30s alongside Jota Juicer. Maximus has taken the lead away from the start. There's been a pump. Someone's got a lot of debris. Jota Juicer straight on at the chicane, but someone, a lot of debris and virtual safety car. There's a lot of cars getting very close to each other coming out of the chicane.
B1 was just way too late on the brakes going into turn 1, and unfortunately just cracked his wing on, I think, Simon.
They seem to be struggling at the moment to find out positions. There's a lot of moving around because, especially in this mid-pack with about Matt, Robot, Jedi, AJ, they're all so close to each other. They were difficult to tell what positions they were meant to be in, but it is Maximus that has taken the lead on the start.
I can see why. At some point in that first corner, it was 4 wide, I saw.
But someone's got damage.
What, though, like we say, Matt has already gone from 8th position to 6th.
AJ has dropped back, and there's another penalty for speeding under the virtual. It is B-Watt who's got another one, but the virtual safety guy's over. He's got Maximus, who's got Simon and Jota Juicer all over the back of them.
Closes at the top. Simon goes a bit wide. That's going to open up Jota Juicer.
Here comes Jota Juicer, and Jota Juicer as Simon runs wide again, and Jota Juicer is going to have the double mega slipstream as Max is trying to do maybe a bit of weaving. There's yellow flags again. Someone's had a mistake. And Simon's down the inside into Parabolica on Maximus. He's taken the lead, but now suddenly Maximus is going to get the slipstream onto the main straight. And what's Jota Juicer going to do in the background in the slipstream? Not DRS, but here we go then. Looks like he's trying to pull to the inside, but he hasn't got enough because Maximus is setting the slipstream of Simon. So he's just losing out to Maximus there. So Maximus fighting back down the inside into turn 1. Just not enough there. But they're still very close. And Simon's had a very dodgy line through the first couple of corners. And it seems like Maximus might be able to have a chance here.
11th, 12th and 13th into turn 1. Split by 3/10 at most. Look at these three into turn 1. And now looking back, AJ's in the pits. And into De La Rochier, Simon down the inside of Maximus again, goes wide. Maximus gets the undercut around the outside.
And now Jota Juicer has gone down the inside of Maximus into the first Lesmar, and he almost looked like he was going to try and get a move on Simon there. But these three really scrapping for the win of this race. And AJ's in the pits.
An amazing run into Ascari. Let's watch this now. In fact, I say that Maximus has got on a better run. 4/10 from Jota Juicer to Simon.
He's coming down the inside, he's going to the inside into Ascari as he got quite close, very close to contact, but just about avoids it. Now Jota Juicer's got the run on Simon as they head onto the back straight, heading up toward Parabolica. There's some side-by-side action, and there's actually Leica and Bart very close to each other. It looked like, I think that was Matt that almost just got squeezed out onto the grass there on the outside. Matt's going to try and get around the outside. It's a Carlin and a Trident. Mats runs wide though, so that allows Leica back through into 5th place, but they're still side by side. And that's allowed Leica to just hold up in front. And Simon has actually temporarily lost the lead to Jota Juicer, but Jota Juicer gets straight back down the inside. Now comes Jota Juicer again into turn 1. And I think there's a bit of touching going on. Simon fights back. Here comes Maximus, 3 wide, heading out of Rettifilio, heading into Curva Grande. Maximus now tucks inside of Simon, very close to each other. Simon's going to try and get around the outside of Jota Juicer. They're all very close through Curva Grande. Next thing you know, Simon's now going down the inside into Rogier. Simon takes the lead again, but he's almost had a bit of a wobble. Jota Juicer's going to get him again, and look who else has joined the party. It's B-Watt. Leica, I don't think he's even too far away as well, so we've got 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, or 7 cars that are fighting for the win.
Stinson promoted up to 6th and all that. Well, he is going to have the time of his life. 6
And
cars. He knows he's better than in qualifying. Can he be better than in the
7
race?
cars are all very close and fighting for the win, and DRS is enabled on this lap, so Simon now retakes the lead of this race. Jota Juso second, Maximus
so it begins.
third, and now here
Jota
comes
Juso's
Maximus
wide there.
having a run on Jota Juso, and I think that's B-Wad up into
B-Watt
third place.
into third.
Maximus has dropped down to
Meanwhile,
fourth. B-Wad's
this-
going the outside of Jota Juso.
Simon's taking the opportunity to jump. He's 1.2 ahead. Crucially, before DRS detection.
Oh, there's
So
been
it's
some sort of incident somewhere, as there's a yellow flag temporarily, but everything looks to sort
Everyone's
itself
still
out.
facing the right direction.
Oh, someone's in the pits. It's B-Watt.
B-Watt. Robot, actually, is trying to attack Lika here. Oh no, sorry, that's the other way around. Lika's trying to attack Mats, and he's going to the inside. The two
Lika's going down the
championship
inside.
contenders again.
Lika on the inside of Matt into fifth, and Leica almost doesn't slow down and slams straight into the back of Stinson.
And look at
And
the
Leica's
exit.
managed to get a astonishing
Fabio.
exit there for Leica. And in fact, you said Simon took the opportunity to jump. It didn't succeed very well because now he's been
Jota
quad
Juso
straight
is
back
right
in
back
again.
at it.
Jota Juso almost looks like he's going on the outside, but not quite
Locks
close
up,
enough.
he's gonna
Okay,
go wide.
Quilton.
Can Jota Juso get under him again? 5
Not
second penalty left for Robert
quite
for corner
close
crossing.
enough.
Max,
Someone's
Lika's
around.
off. Lika's off.
Lika's off
Lika
and
Robot,
around.
they've had an accident.
Yep.
Crucially,
Lika's out of the
for Lika,
points. He's a long way down someone else's round. Someone else's round. It's Astro as well in the De La Roggia chicane.
Oh no! So massive drama at the De La Roggia chicane.
I
Maximus, I
think-
think, I lost the position. Okay, my bad. I was just getting excited for nothing. But here we go again.
Stinson up in the
Simon
third.
and Jota Juso. These two are inseparable. But here comes that great.
Oh,
fight.
Jota Juso! Jota
Stinson is-
Juso has had a moment, and that's on Stinson up in a second. Maximus gets up in a third. So a small error coming out of the
Well,
scar.
no.
It's cost Jota Juso to fourth, and Stinson now up in a second. Will have DRS on the main straight. He's going to go for the chance
Astros
to win
around
this race.
again at Lesmo too.
So, Leica, the championship leader, currently not in the points, and here comes Stinson side by side to take the lead. Is it going to be enough though?
For now.
Is Simon going to be able to get back ahead?
Even
Yes, he
if-
does.
even
Stinson
if he
takes the
gets-
lead.
Even
Oh,
if
a
he
lock
gets
up
ahead,
for Stinson though.
Even if he gets ahead and even if he pulls as much as a gap as he wants, we saw what happened last race. He was confidently leading. No one was challenging him. And then look what happened. He just spun out on the exit of De La Roggia.
Maximus and Jota Juso had a bit of an incident, and Leica in the pit, so his race seems to be going from bad to worse at the moment. It's not looking good for our championship leader. This is a great opportunity for Matt, who's in 5th place though. This is the opportunity he needs to close that championship gap down.
And hunting down Maximus every step of the way, and you can see how much he's pushing that car. And Holly's round.
Holly's round.
Gonna go out of the points.
He's had
Oh
a
no, I
big
think he
slide
might
and a
be saved
collision
by a
with
confident
Robot.
gap to B-Watt. Still so
No,
unfortunate
no.
though. He was running really well in the points.
Fairly certain in the sprint race, the points are the top 8, so he's out of the points anyway. So at the moment, I think the last points finisher is Marco. There are less points in the sprint race than there are the feature, so I think it's the top 8 that score points in this second race.
Meanwhile, well, you say this race is unravelled. It really has. AJ pitted early, of course, dropped him almost completely out of the race. Lika has now come out 16 seconds behind. Stinson goes on to set a fast lap, a 1:30 dead. 2.2 is the gap to Simon. Last lap, it was 1:10 Stinson the other way.
Now then, what can Matt do in 5th place? Because this is the opportunity. He needs like a dead last 17 seconds behind the next car. This is exactly the opportunity he needs to score as many points as someone's gone off. Someone's gone off,
That looks like
and it is
Super
Super Bounty who's had to take
I think he's gone
through
straight
the.
through.
No, he was trying the
taken-
polystyrene chicane, but I think he's hit some of them off, some of the polystyrene boards.
Doesn't look to be any damage on the car. Now, I think Matt could be slamming his wheel in frustration here, because look at the gaps. There's 3/10 to the car ahead, 5 to the car ahead from Maximus, 6 to the car ahead from Jota Juso. It's going to be a DRS train, and unfortunately there's not much Max can do, because it's so tight.
That
I
is the
think Robert
problem.
might have gone off. He looks fairly slidey out of De La Roggia, and Harley's gone around again. And that's going to allow B-Watt to come through.
So B-Watt up to the top 10, but high round again for a second now. He seems to really be struggling in this race, but yeah, Max, who has caught on to back and will get DRS from Maximus, but Maximus will get the DRS of Jota Juso, and Jota Juso will get the DRS of Simon. In fact, Max has dropped a second back. He's out of the DRS, and that could be costly for his chances of getting on the podium. Here comes Maximus, who looks to have had a fantastic drive, and this is a lovely camera I've got. I don't know about you, but here we go then on the straight, and it looks like Maximus is getting in the slipstream of Simon as they come down the main straight. Jota Juso three wide into turn one. Jota Juso on the mega inside. Is it close enough? There is contact, but they somehow managed to go around. And they've somehow managed to get around the car. Never mind, because Maximus has taken Simon with him, and Simon's out of the race.
And Simon's out.
And I think he's just been mounted by Maximus. It's a virtual safety car. How's Maximus's rejoin? He's got a bit of a gap to his teammate Marco, and that's gone horrifically wrong. And Simon will be very frustrated.
All of a sudden, Matt, with his championship rival out of the points, has a chance to score second place. How big would that be for his championship fight here? We're what, 5-6 rounds in to the OFR
this is round 7, I think.
This would be crucial.
So yeah, this is indeed needed as they get very close. You need to not pick up a penalty for speeding under safety car. Of course, Jota Juso's got a penalty actually, so we just have a quick look as to what that penalty is. It's just at 6 seconds for Jota Juso now, so that's not what he needs. So that means that Matt might get second just by sitting in the behind him. Matt's the winner of the first race as well, could get second. This could be a massive haul of points from this weekend.
Just looking at the Cup, this has been a fairly horrid FT race, I think it's fair to say. I just caught him out of Rhett Filio getting a bit of a slide on. He just doesn't look to be able to make up that ground.
Here we go then, DRS in action as Matt is trying to close in on Jota Juso, pulls to the outside, and here he goes into turn one. Jota Juso gives him a bit of squeeze because Jota Juso's fought back for it, and he holds on to second, and in fact Super Bounty's gone down the inside on Matt. So whilst one car, Jedi, sorry. So whilst one carling is miles out of the points, the other one has gone up into fourth.
Maximus pitting. That'll be that front wing change. Astro and AJ are side by side here.
Side by side, that is Astro on the inside, AJ on the outside. I think Astro broke a little bit later, but that looks not to surround him too much.
Now,
who got the DRS?
Because this could be crucial. It is. Who is it?
There's the DRS. It is Astro. DRS. The DRS is just after the main straight of the finish line. Here he goes down the inside for the top 10. No, he's not quite close enough. Showing AJ that he is there though. Meanwhile, Matt has actually dropped a little bit of time. Someone's gone off again. In fact, Jedi is on the outside of Super Bounty for fourth into Ascari. Jedi just gets ahead. Does he turn into the corner? Yes, he does.
Now back up to these two for the podium positions. Mats looks like he's going to get the switch back. He's going down the inside on the exit parabolica, and I think Mats is going to get the DRS as well as they side by side heading onto the main straight. I said it was a sitting duck last time. If it wasn't then, but I think it will be now. He's going to get further alongside. Can he get ahead? I think so. Yeah, he's got the inside line certainly. Jota Juice is going to fight it. Still on the inside. Matt keeps the position, but it's side by side still into the Curva Grande.
Bit of a wobble. Jota Juice just backs off, and in the background you can see Super Bounty and Jedi going side by side. Super Bounty gets back up and into fourth.
Matt has made it though. Can Jota Juice do anything into De La Rozier? He can't. So Matt gets the position.
And Jota Juso immediately starts to look like he's dropped out of a second. So Jota Juso, he doesn't have the pace that Matt has, and this is going to be a huge haul of points for Matt. We'll see how much this closes him in on the championship fight. But this could be huge for the championship at the moment, because he's quite a long way behind Leica at the moment in that title fight. But this could be everything that Matt needs.
Seems like the closest gap on track at the moment is for the final 2 points positions. We've got B-Watt and Robot. Robot just in front.
B-Watt's going down the inside into Lesmore. No, not quite close enough there. Not the best overtaking spot.
Coming up next. Is he going to try it into Lesmo 2? He's got ahead on the brakes.
Robert, I think, just massively backed out there. Was that to get the DRS?
Ooh, fairly aggressive line change.
Neither of them got DRS actually, so they must have been exactly side by side as they went across the detection.
Oh, how hard was this going to be for Maximus? He was leading for the first part of the race. I've just seen him go through the pit boards at turn 1. It's going to be a crushing blow to realise you were once leading this race.
Robot has dropped. Oh, Robot's got damage actually. I've just noticed Robot has got damage to the end plate of his car. It is missing half a front wing.
Huge damage actually.
So I wonder if that's why Robot just backed up, because I was wondering why Robert's just dropped so much pace. Now will he pit in as they head on to the penultimate lap? No, he's sticking it out to the end of the race.
This might not be over. Matt, if he picks up a penalty, I mean, it's going to be a long shot, it's going to be a very long shot, but an on-track battle, this isn't over for Joto Juso. He's still keeping that gap at around 4 to 6 tenths, and he's going to have DRS into this fairly crucial DRS zone, because it sets you up for Ascari, the back straight, and then what comes after that?
Stinson, by the way, is having an absolutely legendary drive, 10 seconds clear of anyone else.
Still with a lap to go into double figures. I mean, if this doesn't tell you anything about the talent level of just any of the top guys in OFR, you know, I don't
Matt's
know
doing
what
a bit
does.
of weaving. Matt's did a little bit of weaving down that straight just to try and break the toe. We've seen a few drivers do that. How effective would you say that is?
4 tenths. He's got enough, I think, in that DRS to just probably easily pull past. I'll check the yellow flag in sector 2. I don't think it's anything major. You can keep an eye on those two.
Here we go, then.
Astro around at De La Rogier.
Shoto Juso pulls to the outside. Matt's his route to the inside. Is he going to swing it all the way on the outside? He's very close. He did, and he has just about gotten ahead. And Shoto Juso takes second on track. But on the final lap, and there's Super Bounty and Jedi racing each other again, I think. Or is that actually no? No, that's Super Bounty lapping Leica, I think.
That's another crushing blow. We've got yellow. Stinson's around again!
Stinson's gone off!
Again, no!
He's gone up, but has he got enough gap to Jota Juso? Matt has gone off as well. But what's the gap between... There he is, there's Stinson! He's gone around in the same place. Jota Juso could take the lead of this race on track, because Stinson, who we were just saying was having a sublime performance, has gone around and made the same mistake twice.
I told you at the start of this race when he took the lead, anything could happen. Look what's happened.
Joto Juso could take this on track, although he has got a 6-second penalty, and I don't think he's going to clear Stinson by 6 seconds.
He's going to get away with it. He's going to get...
He's had another 3 seconds, so Stinson just needs to stay ahead of Mats, and he wins at this race, but here we go. It's going to be enough.
He's going to get away with it, isn't he?
How much does Stinson fight him into the final corner? Joto Juso goes down the inside, but Mats and they need to take contact, and Stinson's actually going to try driving around the outside. No! Joto Juso goes round and almost collects Mats there.
Barely finishes.
And so Stinson wins the race.
Mats second. Joto Juso is going to be so sad.
Oh, he's going to miss out on the podium as well because Super Bounty. Ooh, and a big weave. He's struggling on the track to just avoid Super Bounty. And now he's reversing across the line, and it is Jedi. Jedi gets up into the podium because of penalties.
He might not have finished the way he wanted, but at least he finished in style.
Bark B-Watt runs extremely wide out parabolica, try not to hit the sideways Jota Juso. No. Well then, the order has actually massively changed. Is it going to be Robot or AJ? His car is still stationary on the side there, and it is AJ. Harley into 10th place, 11th place looks like it's going to be Astro, because Maximus has got the penalty and Lycra's already crossed the line and has already left the room. He's very unhappy with himself, I'm sure we can imagine.
What a dramatic finish. You know, I thought initially, when that first tiny bounce of contact happened, that there would be a bit of rebound, that there would be, you know, that touch of... how do you call it? Almost like there's like forces attract to each other after you make that first bit of contact. You know, and I thought that might be the end of the race for one of them, and it was too little, too late. I think for Joe to do so. Just putting, I wouldn't say too much on the line, because if you've got a gap at the final lap, you've got to take it. But you know, these guys are in essence, racing drivers on, these guys are just racing drivers on virtually. You know, they have the same instincts, they have the same motivations.
Oh
They
god.
want to do the same. They have the same job.
Stinson busts a move out on the podium.
But ultimately, a very dramatic finish to the race.
What a race. Matt's, of course, first in the first race, second in the second race. He'll be happy with that one. And Stinson, I suppose you could say, only just so, but I suppose you could say redemption for the first race, because Stinson definitely had the pace to win that feature.
I wonder what happened if he just took a tad bit more wing damage. I wonder if that would have affected it any. But I've said this before, I've said it again, ifs and buts. This is the present, and the present is Stinson wins. We should do this more often. That was
good, yeah. So there we go then. There's the result after all the penalties and said and done. So Stinson, Matt's Jedi is the top three. Marco into fourth place. Jota Jutsu finished fifth in the end. Super Bounty sixth. P Watt seventh. AJ picked up the last point. Robot down in ninth. Harley 10th. Astro 11th. Maximus 12th. Leica a lap down in 13th. And Simon was the only DNF. But what a race. What a race is. Both of them were good. Yeah, that was good. That
was really good.
So I'm sure Matt's taken quite a lot of points on Leica in the championship. So we'll see how that converges. But it seems that might have been a bit controversial between Stinson and Jota Jutsu. I'm not sure what happened on that final corner. Jota Jutsu in the Discord does not seem too happy about it.
I can imagine. I mean, you know, it's the very last lap. Ultimately, it comes down to close racing and, you know, the etiquette of do you go for it. But either way the penalties swing, either way the opinions swing. That was a very good race, and for the most part had very good pace. But I think he can console himself with the fact that his pace today was very good. Unfortunately, he just didn't manage to get the points to match.
Overall then, so and to end the stream here then, thank you for everyone that was watching, and goodbye.